Welcome to Eastern Newsbeat. Tricia Ziemer here reporting. Greek Maestro Zoe Zeniodi has returned to Brisbane to lead the Queensland Symphony Orchestra in the opera Cosi fan Tutte. The stellar Australian cast of 6 singers, supported by 8 chorus, are directed by Opera Queensland CEO and Artistic Director Patrick Nolan. Patrick says the show presents an opportunity to experience opera at its best through the unique relationship between the music of Mozart and the libretto of Lorenzo da Ponte. Cosi fan tutte, which translates to All Women Are Like That, brings together 4 young lovers on holidays and questions the idea of romantic love in all its guises. Is it illusion or the source of all happiness? Maestro Zoe Zeniodi said she was excited to return to Brisbane to work on the opera after her first collaboration with QPAC in 2022. The new opera started in Brisbane on the 9th of August and has achieved Zoe her second Australian standing ovation. Join me as Zoe Zeniodi shares her story on becoming an internationally acclaimed maestro and the first female Greek maestro. Welcome, Zoe. Thank you for joining me. It is a great pleasure to meet you. How excited are you to be in Brisbane?
Hi, Tricia. I'm very happy to be meeting you in person finally. I'm extremely pleased and happy and honored to be in Brisbane and to be conducting for Opera Queensland along with the Queensland Symphony Orchestra. It is very exciting.
Now, when did you first fall in love with music and knew it would be a passion for you?
So the beginning of my love for music and how I felt that this would be the way, the path I would take, was when I was actually 6 years old, 6.5, and we had a piano at home. So my grandmother owned a piano and that piano was always closed, and I remember that I wanted to go and touch it and they never allowed me to go near it. They had it locked. I think they thought that because I was young and small I might be like hurting myself for the piano. So at around 6, my family decided that I should take piano lessons, and this was the same decision that they took with me taking ballet lessons and taking French lessons. So it was part of the family kind of bringing up the kids that they had. So I started my piano lessons at 6.5, and I had a very good time, and everyone kept saying that I'm very talented, so I really progressed very quickly. So at the age of 11 and 12 I was already playing Beethoven sonatas and big works that kind of grown-ups play. So everyone kept saying that I was very talented, and I have to say that I didn't know what that is and what that means. I just knew that I enjoyed playing. I knew that it was very hard work. I had to practice many hours a day, and actually from the age of around 13 to 17, I had almost daily piano lessons for 3 to 4 hours a day. So actually I just finished school, I had to do my homework and run to piano lesson, because they all thought I'm very talented, and that it should be it would be a kind of a pity, let's say, if I didn't go ahead with that type of talent. So to be honest with you, I really didn't have, I didn't have a choice, let's say. I didn't have a chance to decide myself what I'm gonna do with my life. I was not even asked. I was drawn to it and destined to do what I did, which would be music, because they thought that I'm very sensitive and passionate with my piano playing.
It sounds like they thought you were a musical genius.
Yes, they did consider me a kind of a musical genius. I have to tell you that I was not. I have seen musical geniuses and I was not one of them. I have to be very honest. I think that my talent with music didn't have to do with actually a proper music talent. It had to do with what I now call the art of translation, the art of interpretation, and the art of transformation. As a child, I was very good at understanding very well emotions, understanding what is given to me as an emotional state, which is abstract fully, and then I was able to translate it into sound. So that would have happened, I think, if I had taken other paths, like for example could include theater, or would include actually languages and translation, proper translation. It has to do, I think, with the understanding of someone, of how you can receive abstract emotions and make them into sound, or receive anything and then turn it through sound to more emotions. Because that's what music is here for, and art is here for, is to kind of stare and work through our emotional states and to make us feel and to touch us. So I think that this was my biggest talent as a kid, and now too, the ability to understand this world and the universe that, you know, goes around all that, and being able to make it more tangible for people and work through it so you can create more space for emotion.
Have you ever seen music as colors?
I have never seen music as colors, but to be honest with you, because I'm not like synesthetic, but I have always connected music to words, to sounds, to images. That's how I did work when I was a baby, and actually my piano teacher would play something very up high on the piano, and she would say, listen to the birds here. So it would be like a bird sound. So she always created images for me which were very helpful, and they're still very helpful. And I remember feeling at times that I was hearing something and I felt it was green. And it was just color green. And of course it was not green, it was not that I was relating to it in a kind of, let's say, neurological way, but it was definitely green for me.
Where were your parents in this process? What was the support from your mother and father?
So my parents, during the whole process of my music life, they were supportive. They were a bit left behind in the process, because my piano teachers actually took on very early on, and they kind of made choices for me. So my parents were there for me. They said always they supported me and they said that I should do whatever I like. But they also thought that doing music would be good for me, because that's what everyone thought. So they were there, they took me to all my piano lessons, they drove me everywhere, they were there for me. They never said you shouldn't have a music career. When it was tiring, they were there. And I remember, for example, my grandmother and my mother sitting through piano lessons or sitting through study times when it was very hard practice time, I would have to study for 7 hours, and my grandmother would sit silently next to me to just help me go through that. So yes, they were very, very much with me through this process.
Do you remember your very first piano recital?
So my very, very first piano recital was actually, and I do remember it clearly, it's a very, very huge experience that I have in my mind. I was 7 years old. I had just learned my first beautiful piano piece called The Spring by a composer called Oesten. And I was in a hotel in Zurich because I had traveled to Switzerland with my father and my grandmother. And I remember being in that hotel, and it was breakfast time, and there was a piano there, and my father looked at me and he said, would you like to go and play and try out that piano? So I sat on that piano and I played my little piece. And I remember that everyone silenced, and then I played the piece and they started clapping. So it was a very interesting experience, because this was a piano recital which was not meant to be a piano recital, but it was finally. They started applauding and everything. So it was a very beautiful moment, which I remember very clearly. And I had just had half a year of piano lessons.